All right, guys, how we doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, I'm okay. Nice to get in here and get warm. It's a little cool out there today. It's best y'all are happy they didn't let you stay out there today.
Right.
You're like, yeah, Tom, time to go on out there. No, we're good. We'll do the press conference in here.
Coach, it sounds like Mason's the number 2 guy. Just talk us through what went into that decision.
Well, I think that Mason's had a good opportunity to be that number 2, and I guess I made a lot of comments. I don't know what Coach had said exactly, that nobody'd separated or whatever, that we'd watch that last scrimmage and go back and review really the last week of practice. And when we did that, he gave us the best chance. We thought he was trending the best way. Tremendous talent, just needs more playing time. We feel good about him. He's got 1 game experience in there. I hope that we could play him, in a role where he didn't have to start right away, but you don't always have that luxury. But I'm excited about Mason's future.
If something, I guess, were to happen, knock on wood, you might want to, but would he be ready? Would you feel comfortable if he were to have to go in for a series, a couple plays or something?
Well, I'd probably throw up in my mouth a little bit. Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you there a little bit. But no, I really would. You know what I'm saying? We would have a package ready for him. Obviously, I don't think he's ready to be Holton Ahlers, with that experience and have maybe the complete playbook with checks and, different things like that available to him. But at the same time, he's got great ability. We know he's a great dual threat. He can run. He's big. He can be physical. And he has got a cannon for an arm. And so, yeah, we'd roll with him. I mean, every day when they're in there, they're playing like they're the starter. Every day in the meeting room, they're responsible to be preparing just like they're the starter. So you're never probably totally ready till you get out there. But he's been out there. So I really would expect him to be excited and ready to go.
Coach, what about the rest of the quarterback room? How are they looking?
Well, it gets to the point when the season gets ready to start, and that's kind of what we're in right now. We've kind of gone from phase 1 to phase 2. Now we're in game, like Bode. The other guys don't get a lot of reps. You know what I'm saying? The number 3 guy kind of learns by osmosis. He kind of stands. He gets a few skelly reps. He gets to throw the drills. He gets to do the one-on-ones. But he has to just participate mentally because you just don't have enough time or you can't put the lineman through all those reps for that guy to get, very many reps. So right now, Ryan Stubblefield looks like he's probably would be the 3rd guy to go. Alex Flynn's still in there competing with that a little bit, I think. So Stubby could bring he's got some energy now. You know what I'm saying? I had said earlier in the scrimmages in the stadium, our 3s and 2s were not very good. They kind of made the scrimmages a little bit ugly at times. But on the field out there, Ryan has definitely shown some ability to move the ball, though. So he's a guy who's just not going to get a lot of reps right now because you're the number 3.
How much more, freedom does Holton have now at the line? I mean, I know you guys still do checks with me and stuff, but can he change things on his own at this point?
Well, more and more, yeah. And as he continues to make good decisions, we will continue to let him do that more and more. Today's game, though, defenses are just so multiple now. I mean, when I went to college, the offense playbook was about this thick, and the defense was like a flyer. You know what I'm saying? You ran the 50 defense, or you were a 4 down. You maybe had 1 changeup. Now their playbook's bigger than our playbook. They've got so many different personnel groupings in there, so many different stunts. Nobody plays base defense. Everybody's got some kind of a scheme going. So you have to have the ability for your quarterback to get you out of some bad looks, because there's going to be some overloads, there's going to be some bad looks, and get you into another play. So a lot of it's just that. You just got to make some checks. And then, then the rest of it, quarterbacks have to make decisions on everything. Not just the RPO game, do you run, do you pass, but you got to make decisions on reads and different things like that. The other big thing with our system is the quarterbacks have to know the protection, so they have to line up. So they've got to see where the pressure's coming, and that's different. There are different keys every week. Appalachian State's defense is not that different from our own defense in far as the way they initially line up, but all the tendencies, all the keys are different. So now we've been in 14, 15 practices, and we've been coaching, watch the safety, he will give this away, or this linebacker does this. Now we're in, and we got a couple extra days, which is kind of nice on that first game. Those tendencies are no more. Now we're having to study, well, their tendency is this. You've got to look for this.
With the running backs, how fresh are Rajay Rajay didn't get a ton of carries Saturday. Yeah. I mean, was there some intent, obviously, in keeping those guys kind of ready to go?
Yeah, neither scrimmage did Keaton or Rajay get a lot of the reps. Now, they got a lot of the reps, in the practices out there, but the emphasis in the scrimmages really were who would be the next guy. You know what I'm saying? We got to find that third guy. We got some good competition going on there for that. That'll be an ongoing competition, but they've played a lot. The running backs take so much punishment. They give out some punishment, but they take so many hits that you just can't afford to get those guys too banged up. And so we rested them as much as we can. Now, they're workers. They don't like to not be in there. They're competitive kids. And they've got their own little friendly rivalry going as well, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't try to get in the way of that, but they know the ones that count for them are the ones in the games.
Maceo, is he repping now at receiver again, or is he still going back and forth?
Well, he's going to have to do both. He's going to have to be that hybrid player that, as somebody's out this week, you're going to have to go do this. He did a great job through the most part of the camp playing running back. I think there are some plays, there are some situations where he's a pretty good back, especially third down, some different things like that. Some of the wider type plays, he can really give you a burst of speed there. With Tyler Snead, who was out, now Tyler could have went. Tyler's fine. Tyler's played 1,000 some plays, whatever. So, the trainer was like, well, I think he can go to scrimmage. And we're like, why? Why would we put him out there right now? Tyler Snead's the same every day. As Houghton told me, he said, I think Tyler, as long as he's there for pregame, I think he'll be fine. He'll play the same game. But with him down, we kind of started to notice Josiah was out. He was out. Okay, well, maybe some of the other guys are not quite ready. Maybe Meso's had a good camp. Let's put him in here. So he's just going to really be the emergency player that's going to have to fill in everywhere, and we'll have to work him both ways. So he has to kind of get with the receiver coaches. He has to kind of get with the running back coaches, and he has to kind of know both. But he's a sharp enough guy that he can do that.
In the past, we haven't used the tight ends a whole heck of a lot. How has the depth in that room allowed you to utilize them more?
Well, we haven't thrown it to them maybe as much, as we would like to have thrown it to them. Some of that was because maybe that's not probably what they were good at. Like I say, when we got here, I've told the story many times, we didn't have a tight end. Xavier Smith, I guess, had been the tight end. He was going back to linebacker. So we had one guy, I guess, he came back, and he'd had a broke hand the year before, and, really, he had hands like feet, so he really couldn't catch it, so we didn't throw it to him very often anyhow. Jeremy Lewis, we would have thrown it to more. He did catch a touchdown early in the year, and then he stayed hurt most of the year, so we didn't get a chance to do that. But the tight ends were in there blocking like crazy. They've been in there a lot. We're a lot of tight end formations, a lot of tight end, different guys. This year, though, we can throw it to them. Shane Calhoun kind of came on last year, had a pretty good rookie season, really went by my expectation. I thought he'd be good. I didn't think he'd be that good that early. Ryan Jones, obviously, is a receiving type tight end. So, when you get one, then you kind of get two. Then you start saying, well, now we can put more stuff in. Okay, put more stuff in. And so right now, in practice, we're throwing it to him quite a bit out there.
Jones, he seems to be picking it up just watching the last few weeks.
He's as good an athlete as anybody around. And we knew that. We had some friends, obviously, that were at the school that he came from, and they said, he's going to probably be one of your best athletes on the team, if not your best athlete. Now, he played a lot of different positions. He played all defense. In high school, he was a true wide receiver. He's 240-some pounds now, so he's not really going to be a, prototypical type wide receiver. He needs to be that hybrid tight end. But he got here, he had to learn, what are the signals, what are the plays. You guys are crazy the way y'all practice out here and all the things. He had to learn all those different things. This camp, coming back after being here for spring and summer, he's been a total new guy. Now he knows what to do. He's got a spring in his step. He's I think he's on the verge of breaking loose here. I really hope that we can get him involved, but not only as a pass receiver, because those guys got to block too.
Coach, what changes for you for game week as you guys start to look for that end of this week?
Well, you start to narrow down. When you go through the camp, you have an install sheet. You're going to put this in day one. We're going to put this in day two. Then maybe day three you're going to repeat, whatever. But you end up putting in something in every day. It's just install. Let's get this in here. Let's look at it. Let's see how this fits us. All right, let's change this. Let's move this. Now that we know we're playing one team, we're just narrowing everything down into this is what's good we think versus what they do. So your focus just narrows into the plays you're going to call, the formations you're going to call. You're not in the camp. You're playing everybody. Like I say, you look up, who was in there. You know what I'm saying? Now it's a travel squad. You got about 30-some guys offensively that'll really be ready to play. So you're giving all your work on your field just to those guys.
How scripted do you go?
Well, it's a game plan. It's a game plan, and it's more of a situational scrimmage. You have plays that you would call on what we call P and 10, which is the first play of each drive, which you think are good openers based on the tendencies. Are they a pressure team? Are they play a little bit more conservatively on the first down of each series right there? You have second long. You have third medium. You have all the different situations as you get into what's the mythical red zone. It kind of has to change based on their tendencies, goal line play. So you have all different sections. And then you kind of script within, like, well, this will probably be my first third long call. This will be my first third medium call. So it's like that. And then there's a little thing usually before the game. Most games, I probably do a little bit of the old Bill Walsh. I probably script a little lucky number of plays that I want to get run. A lot of that's because you think, obviously, well, these are going to work based on what you've been watching on tape. But also they're like, well, I want to set up maybe another play. So I'm going to make sure we run this. And then we see, well, how do they defend that? Or you're going to do a motion to see, like, well, what does that do to them? And then you might just have a play, well, this play will be okay. This will be a pretty safe play. Later thinking, well, if they adjust like we hope they will adjust, that's where maybe that big play will come from. So that's kind of the process of what you do.